we are back again this week on Stories Untold. Thank you for choosing us as your source of information. We pride ourselves with the ability to find beauty in the most rare places. The same goes with the people that we bring right here on the show. Now, the lady that we are about to meet is an advocate, and she is part of the team behind the brand Honeycomb. Ladies and gentlemen, Stories Untolders, allow me to introduce Andrea.
Crowned Miss Varsity College 2012, the then 25-year-old active woman would find her life changed after a stray bullet from a robbery gone wrong almost took her life.
My name is Andrea. I'm 29 years old and I am a wheelchair user-friendly, and I'm proud about it. I mean, I wouldn't have been here, honestly, if it wasn't for my two little wheels. It's 4 years now, so September last month was 4 years, September the 15th. And the person who I was 4 or 5 years ago was the person who I needed to be at that point, at that stage in my life. You know, I don't want to take away from that girl, because I believe, I mean, at that point when I'm just thinking back to who I was back then, that was my mindset at that point. There are certain things that I think about now and I go back, I'm like, wow, you could have done things differently, you could have thought of that differently, but that's who I needed to be at that moment. Although I feel like I was so young. I was only 25, but I feel like there was so much more that I felt like I could have done for myself at that point, at that age. But moving into 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, my mindset has completely changed about a lot of things. Not only about my disability, but about life in itself. And the one thing that I've taken from, you know, the incident and being isolated, because I felt so isolated, was when COVID hit and everybody had to go into isolation. My mother and I spoke about it, and I can remember it so clearly. We felt such a, it's like now you know what it's like to be isolated. Now you know what it's like to, you can't go to a place that you're restricted from going there, and that's how I felt, you know.
Andrea took us back to the day that changed her life forever.
I remember it so clearly, obviously, like, we went out, friends and I, we went out to Greenside, and, you know, it was just a casual, chilled evening, whatever, you know, drinks and supper, whatever the case is. And then, you know, as we leave in the restaurant and whatever, so a friend and I, we stood by my car, and we're just having a small chat, you know, before, you know, leaving and whatever. And I hear a gunshot go off. And as I turn to look, I see like this car speeding around the bend. And at that point, the bullet was already coming for me. I mean, I wasn't aware of where the bullet was coming from, because I didn't see any commotion or hear any commotion, but the bullet was already heading for me. So at that point, I obviously didn't know where it was coming from or what happened or whatever, and I didn't even feel it. And when the bullet hit me, I fell on the ground, and the feeling that I can describe or say is I felt electrocuted. That's how my legs felt. But I didn't have any external bleeding, so I had internal bleeding. And then my friend picked me up from the floor, and he's like, Andrea, oh my word, what, did you get shot? You know, because he was also like even in shock, in awe, like what just happened now, you know? And immediately put me into the car. We went straight to Mill Park Hospital at it was like early 10:30 in the evening at night. And get to the hospital, whatever. I'm still awake. Bear in mind, like, I think the rush and the shock of, you know, being shot or whatever the case is, I was still awake. I was talking. Get to the hospital, and I'm awake, and I'm on the surgery table because I had internal bleeding. So they had to, you know, open up me on my left hand side and drain the blood out from my left lung. But I was awake through it all, and this happened till early hours of the morning. And I think only when I got to my bed did my body settle down, and then I fell asleep. And that was like 3 o'clock in the morning. But thankfully, the bullet ricocheted, so it hit a car before it hit me. So it wasn't as, I don't want to use the word lucky. But for lack of a better term, I'm lucky because the bullet didn't go through my spine. It just caused a shock wave to my spine, and that's what caused nerve damage. And, you know, at that point in hospital, I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't really feel anything at that point. But when the doctors came back to tell me, okay, your paralysis is that your injury is incomplete. So what that means is this: I still have feeling, I still have movement, and I'm still in control of my bowels and in my bladder, which I'm really truly thankful for, because that made it easier for me to actually transition back into the world, because I could go out still and still be in control of my bladder and my bowel, you know, because honestly, I've met so many in rehab, in hospital, so many paraplegics, quadriplegics that can't really go out because they don't have control of their bowels, you know. So I'm really thankful for that I can still go out and not, you know, feel like, oh my gosh, am I going to wet myself now, you know, because it's something that I constantly think about all the time. Every day I make sure that I'm okay, am I okay, is my wheelchair okay, do I have my catheter, am I, you know, I need to have all these things with me when I go out, you know. It's a transition, and I've learned to adapt, I've learned to cope, but it's been hard, but worth it in the same breath, you know. So I can't even explain to you what that means to me in 100 words, but I wouldn't have been the person I am today if it wasn't for these two wheels, and I'm pretty much grateful.
Her mom still gets emotional when she relates how her daughter's accident affected the entire family.
It was 4 years of trauma. She was in hospital for 3 months in the rehabilitation. And while she was in the rehabilitation, it was very tough emotionally. And at the time, I was fortunate to be at home with her, you know, spending time with her in the rehabilitation. You know, like there were days that she would cry for 6 hours of the day at the rehab. And she would WhatsApp me and say, I can't do this. And she'll be crying. And then I would WhatsApp the cousins, I would WhatsApp the one close cousin, family, friend, and we would get together and go sit with her at the rehab. And I would leave her to cry. I would sit by her bedside, but I would just leave her because that's where she wanted to be at the time. That was her space, and I allowed her that space. So I, you know, and it was tough on me because I had my son, which was only like 15 years old, you know, and to deal with him with school and emotions. And eventually we both had to go for counseling to get through this, because my son was saying, her brother was saying, can this only be a dream? Have we really to go through this now, you know? And the first day when she came back to the home, it was an adjustment for her because she was in a wheelchair. And we had to adjust the home according to her needs.
This woman is determined to recover and embrace her new life. So much so that she has blocked anything that could delay her healing and recovery, including the case.
I haven't touched there. I do have emotional feelings that I've harbored about it. Not because I feel like that person had intentions to shoot me, because I believe in my heart of heart that person had no intentions to shoot me. And I have no grudge against that person whatsoever. In fact, obviously, I wish nothing but the best for that person, because I believe that it doesn't mean because that person put me in this situation that I should harbor that feelings towards that person. I mean, I don't even know who it is. But just for my own healing and for my own recovery, I needed to just put that aside so that I can get through life.
welcome back to the show. Now that we have given you a bit of background in terms of who Andrea is, we'd like you to follow her as she does the incredible work behind the brand Honeycomb. Now, this particular brand doesn't only just allow her to give back to other people who are in need, but it also allows her the opportunity to showcase what she's capable of as a strong, independent woman, as well as a professional in her own right.
Andrea is part of Honeycomb, an NGO whose mission is simply tagged #fighting-poverty. The project coordinator introduced us to this initiative, and she had a lot to say about Andrea.
I am Kaylee's Reuters, and I am social media and projects coordinator for Honeycomb Social Impact. We are in 4 ways right now. This is our head office, and this is where we fight period poverty. We make sustainable, reusable menstruation pads for schoolgirls that are disadvantaged and for women in destitute. In South Africa, there are 7 million girls that do not have access to sanitary products. And of the 7 million, the girls try to maintain their periods using materials such as newspaper, sponges, cardboard box, socks, anything to help, because menstruation products are so expensive and inaccessible. So our goal here is to make a sustainable product that can last the girls for up to 6 years. So Andrea is our lovely lovely lady. She works hand in hand with schools that are differently abled, whether that be physically or mentally, emotionally. She is our representative. At Honeycomb, we believe in inclusivity, and we also believe that it's necessary for our beneficiaries to see someone that looks like them. It's important for us to be relatable to our beneficiaries, and Andrea plays a big role in that. And also she helps us understand things that people that are like normally abled, we don't understand the day-to-day difficulties that they face, and it's very important for us to be able to cater to everyone. So inclusivity, equality, that's a main thing we believe in, and Andrea is our advocate in the differently abled department.
Andrea is excited about how being a part of this NGO makes her feel.
It's been amazing. I feel so accepted there. I feel so comfortable there. I feel myself. I am so much of myself there, and they allow me to be myself. And I think that's also what's important about being in a workplace as a disabled or a person with impairment is you want to feel like yourself. You want to feel like, you don't want to feel like a bird. You don't want to feel like you're disturbing your colleague, or you don't want to feel like you're getting favored because of your disability, And I feel so accepted all around with my colleagues, my boss, and that sort of a thing. And what we're doing is super extraordinary, super extraordinary, and giving back to the community is solely what I wanted to do and my intentions, and I feel like this is such a great stepping stone for me as well, because we're reaching out to a disadvantaged girl. We hand making the pads, and we are self-taught, and you can't begin to imagine like the gratitude that comes from that, because you solely making that pad for a girl that doesn't have. So just imagine what she's going through, putting on that pad and just thinking to yourself, thank you God that this person made me this pad. And you think to yourself when you go to bed at night, I did something good for the world. So Honeycomb has really helped me in so many ways. I have, like Bernie it has become such a great mentor to me. Not only do, I work for her, but we have such a close relationship where she touch base with me every now and again, like, are you okay? Do you need help with anything? How are you emotionally? And I think that really plays such a huge role for me, because I really struggled in the beginning with sharing emotions, simply because I harbored so much of emotion in me. And when I transitioned from doing nothing to now doing something purposeful and stimulating, it was hard. It was really hard, because I doubted myself for a long time. So I'm so privileged and honored to be part of Honeycomb.
As we head towards the end of our show today, we'd like to take a different approach as we take Andrea out of the workplace, out of the work that she does as an activist, just to get to know the woman a little bit better and see the most colorful side that she possesses.
Though this young lady has been focusing on her healing journey, one thing she's not happy about is that what happened to her on that fateful night is still a mystery to her and her family.
We haven't received any responses from or feedback from the officials whatsoever, even up until now. Even then, they literally, like I said to you, came to me the first few days out of hospital, asked me a few questions, etc., and that was it. And they literally just left it there, didn't even touch base. Even a month later, 2 months later, I mean, it's 4 years later, still haven't heard anything from them. And so I don't know if it's a lack on their end or mine, you know, but like just going back to what I just said to you, I've just let it sleep for a while. And maybe depending on how I feel in the next month or a year from now, maybe then I'd like to touch base with it. But no response from them, not even any efficiency or any concern for that matter. I mean, this is such a life transitioning thing for me, you know, and they showed no empathy towards that at all, or even say, listen, this is the best we could have done. I'm sorry, we can only do so much. Nothing.
Andrea is determined to continue living her life loud, and she feels very strong about the voice of the marginalized, even beyond the country's Disability Awareness Month.
I feel like it's a month doesn't do justice for us because we're constantly in the situation. You know, our disabilities day in, day out, we deal with it day in, day out. So when this month passes, we're still dealing with it. We're still dealing with our chronic illnesses. We still have, you know, obviously deafening and sight-seeing issues and things like that. So we're constantly going through it day to day. And I think people take that for granted because, yes, we're gonna celebrate Disability Month awareness and things like that. But once that's over, we still have to deal with our disability, you know. So I believe that there's so much more that there can be done, but we need to be, you know, there need to be more of us. Like we need to stand together as a community, able-bodied and disabled-bodied, because I feel like we can't do it alone, you know. And we need to educate more people about what it is that we go through and how to better deal with us as well, you know, and not only make us feel like, oh my gosh, Andrea's disabled, don't touch her, don't look at her. No, but come to me, speak to me. I'm open. I'm a very open person personally, you know. I don't know how somebody else may deal with it, but like I'm saying to you, we were conditioned to be isolated. You know, like, you know, back in the day, it was like, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't go out the house. You can't leave the home. So I feel like there's so much more that we can do. And I personally feel like I'm saying to you, I'm put in the situation for a reason and a purpose. And I believe that that's my reason and my purpose is to speak more about it. And not only speak about it, but do more. You know, because I want to be out there too. You know, I also want to be out there. I also want things that wheelchair-friendly pageant, or, you know, things that can really empower us as well and make us feel and look normal as we are normal as anybody else.
Andrea's advocacy is truly one that doesn't go unnoticed.
I've learned a lot from Andrea. Every day I learn something new, even if it's the smallest little thing. And also, she's made me aware that people that are in wheelchairs or are experiencing rather some sort of disability are no different to us. She is a human being before her disability. And that is something that been the main takeaway for everyone on the team, I think, with Andrea being around. So she has definitely helped us in that department.
For Andrea's family, her journey into this new life she leads has been a team effort, and they are proud of her progress.
Andrea, I am so proud of the woman that you have become. 4 years ago, it wasn't easy, but we journeyed on. And for your positivity and for the zest that you have for life and for going forward and doing things, it makes me so proud. And I'm so happy to know that the space that you're in right now, it really warms my heart and your little brother's heart, because we can see that you are doing things and that you are not stopping, because the world is now your oyster and you are there going out and doing your best. My girl, I'm so proud of you. This is your mom with a warm, warm heart.
So I say, Andrea, I love you very much, ne? You know this by now. It's your brother. I love you too much. Stay strong. Stay the positive, beautiful girl that you are. You're not afraid to do anything. You're not shy. You're not scared. Always thrive and prosper.
4 years after a stray bullet almost took her life, Andrea is living her life without limits. Her rehabilitation center shared this video with us. Looking at this, it is clear that Andrea's abilities are in her fighting spirit.
Like Andrea, you too can be featured on Stories Untold. All you have to do is find us on social media. On Twitter, we are at Stories Untold TV, as well as on Facebook. We look forward to hearing from you. Who knows? You could be the next person that we spend the next few days following and getting to know a little bit better. From myself, Pule Molebadzi, and the rest of the team, it's a goodbye for now.